Some say he was crazy for buying the cheapest 4.4 2D V8 in the UK. Some say he was crazy for trying to fit a lorry engine in a Land Rover Defender. And some say he's crazy for travelling the entire length of the UK on a grey Fergie.
Right, well it looks like we're going to have a little top-up session. And Sam's been enjoying himself. He's had some top tunes and he's enjoyed a lovely drive.
But all we know is he's called Sam from Sam's Motor and Machine.
Hi Ben. So as you know, I've sent you a bit of a package to in return for the one that you sent me. Hasn't got as much homemade stuff in it as what you sent me, but there's something in there that is kind of homemade, but then again, not really, involving a bit more technology than what you've sent me here. But hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and then when you get back, I've got some questions for you to answer. So see you in a minute.
Sam sent me a box in the post, and here it is. I'm rather excited. He said there's something in there that I'll be able to do on camera, so that's intriguing. So he's got pink gaffer tape. It's come in an auto dock box, which is very interesting. I do know he's been getting some parts from auto dock previously, so we'll cut this open. I've taken my address off it so don't get any random people just turning up at my door. It's rather exciting, isn't it? I do like opening parcels. It's bloody... must be the stuff they use on the space station. Oh, look. I won't get too excited, but this box, so bloody hell, it's heavy. LED driving lights. Get to that in a minute. And what we got here? Tell you what, we'll open the box up first. Aux beam, light the way. Oh, you fighter. Aux beam. You bugger. Christ. They're heavy. Look at that. Couple of amber lenses. Full wiring kit with a relay and some mounting hardware. Yeah, bugger. Look at them fighters. So we've got some decisions to make now. Do we stick them on the front of this old chuggaboom or do we put them on the old Panda? Decisions. They are really heavy. I don't know how many lumens they are or anything like that.
So first question. Now when I first discovered the Ben's Garage channel, which was many moons ago, probably quite a bit before I actually started making videos myself, the Range Rover that you had at the time was a TD6. TD6 I guess was the Range Rover you started your channel with, but you did sell it. And it's understandable why you sold it. It was rusting at the time and it's kind of always better to focus on one vehicle rather than two at the same time, I guess. But the question is, do you regret selling it or are you glad just to have the one Range Rover right now?
At the time I was a bit sad to see the TD6 go. It was... I had grown quite attached to it, although it's not a touch on the TD V8 and this one is obviously quite a nice one. It's low mileage and it's been looked after. TD6 has had a bit of a life. It only had 130,000 miles, and we didn't pay a lot of money for it, and it did us a lot of work. We moved house with that car, towing trailer loads of stuff backwards and forwards between the houses before we sold the other one. But when it came down to it and it failed its CT on both the subframes, all the other failures was a piece of cake, you know, nothing much at all. There was the headlight issue and there's some other bits and pieces. It was just a bit too much, too far gone, and we made a good bit of money selling it in the state that it was in. Somebody wanted it for parts or whatever. It was a bit of a shame to see it go to get broken up. But it would be an expensive wheelbarrow. We'd only be able to use it here on our own land, towing the trailer around in the field and stuff, which we've got the tractor for that. So at the time I was sad to see it go. As I say, I got attached to it, but ultimately I'm quite glad we've only got one Range Rover now. I've got one complicated car to fix, and we've got the Panda, which is nice and basic. So I hope that's answered that question. Right, let's open up what's in this bubble wrap. Now the bubble wrap's always exciting, isn't it? Sit here popping it. I've no idea what this is, but he said it's something that I could do on the video, so we'll open this up. Sounds like something loose in here. Any guesses of what it could be? Come on, give us your thoughts now. Ah. Oh my god. It's only a V8 crankcase, cylinder block, whatever you call it. But not only that, it says Ben's Garage. TD-V8 Ben's Garage. Because only milk comes in 2 litres. That is fantastic. So this must be parts to go in it. Look at this. Crankshaft, pistons, conrods. So hopefully there's 8 pistons here. Look at that. This must be the sump. So I'm assuming Sam's made this on his 3D printer. So he is a bit of a clever sod, isn't he? And he said it's something I could put together on the video. So
question number 2. As we all know, fuel and energy prices are pretty much at an all-time high. They have come down a bit recently, but still pretty high compared to where they have been historically. So with that in mind, what do you think the future holds for us Range Rover enthusiasts? And as a second part to that question, how high would fuel prices have to get before you'd consider taking the Range Rover off the road?
I'm not sure really. Obviously Range Rovers are a thirsty old beast, but seem to be these go on one way better than the other. If you've already got a Range Rover, you're not likely to sell it unless you're having a lot of problems with it. People seem to be coping with the price of fuel and don't seem, I know they are moaning, but they're not really moaning, are they? They're not protesting and not buying the fuel. They're still carrying on as they are. But if you've got a Range Rover, you're unlikely to want to sell it if you like it as much as I do, that is. This is probably the quickest engine rebuild I've ever done. I think if you was to be looking in the market of buying a Range Rover, you would probably think twice about the running costs and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It is a tricky one. I think it would probably put off a lot of potential Range Rover buyers, but for those of us that have already got them, we just seem to carry on as it is, sort of thing. Now, which way round is this going to go? Like that. Now, here's a question for Sam. Do you think when he made this, he got the firing order right? Let me see. Right. Yeah, so the future for Range Rover enthusiasts, I mean, possibly have it as a second car might be the answer. Have just a little run around for your daily get to work and back. I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is with this fuel crisis thing at the moment. When it's, I don't know. Anyway, let's build this engine. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way. We'll find out in a minute when I try putting it all together. Alright, it's going together well now. See if this turns. We've still got 4 conrods connected to the crankshaft. That is awesome. Look at that. Thanks for that, Sam. Well chuffed with that. I'm going to give it a bit of a fettling up, just smooth some of the surfaces so that it, I mean, it does, they turn. Pistons going in and out. I'm not sure that the firing order was quite right, but not to worry. I'm super chuffed with that. That is awesome. So all I'm waiting for now is cylinder heads, exhaust manifolds, inlet manifold. Now that's going to be great. I'm going to keep that on my shelf in my office. That is awesome. TDV8 Ben's garage. Nice little bounty from over at Sam's Motor Machine. I've got a few more questions I've got to answer. So,
and along the same kind of lines, a third part to that question. With your solar energy at home, I know you're building more and more solar panels, and you seem to be expanding it every time I go on your channel. With all that free solar power coming in, is there ever a point where you might consider an electric car? And if you did, what car would it be?
I'm on the fence with electric cars. People are like, oh, it's the green way to be, you know, it's this and it's that. For the majority of people that plug their cars into the grid to charge them up, the majority of power stations are not clean. So going down the green route, for me, personally, I think is a farce. Where's that sun gone? Let's carry on. I'll adjust it in post. It's a farce. There's more CO2 in an electric car than people realise. For us, with our own solar system, we don't generate enough solar to... We probably could, because we don't use it all the time, so you could probably charge it up. I don't know if you could. I've never had anything to do with electric cars, so whether you can just plug it in and leave it and it tops it up and it just trickle charges it, that would be ideal. What we do 20 kilometres to the shops and back again. To pay out for an electric car, yes, running costs are cheaper, you don't have to service it, but it's still a car. You've got to insure it. We don't tax cars in France. You just pay a fee up front when you register it. For us, it's probably not an option at the moment until you can't get hold of diesel, and until, you know, diesel, you know, fossil fuels, petrol and diesel. Once we can't get those, we are stuffed anyway. So then that comes on to the question of what would you get? It's like, well, I'm a Range Rover man. I love my Range Rovers. But I'm not sure about these hybrid Range Rovers. That, you know, they all say how fantastic they are, but they've only got a stupid range, like 30, 50 miles. And it's like, I assume they're probably working on a fully electric Range Rover, which, you know, they would be stupid not to. But that's going to be out of my price range. And then the other thing that does concern me with electric cars is obviously over time, they get to a certain age, you've got to replace the batteries. Somebody took their, I can't remember what car, it was on Twitter the other day. It was just a bog standard run-of-the-mill car, took it in and it needed a battery replacing. I think it was America, but it wasn't a fancy car, it was just a bog standard sedan or whatever. And it was $30,000 for a battery, which you say, oh, the car's not cost me anything to run. But then if you every so many years, I don't know how long these batteries last, but 30,000, it's like bloody hell. So for me, until our hand is forced to go electric, I don't think I'd like an electric car. I like the diesel, I like the grunt. Obviously, I've not driven an electric car, but all these videos you see on YouTube, they're awesome. They're just the power of them and everything. But we've got this car here. If we can keep this car running as long as possible, I did think about getting the Panda electrified, but then here in France, modifying a car like that causes issues. If the car isn't what it says on the carte grise, which is like your logbook, it's going to fail. So your carte grise says what engine's in it, how many seats it's got. So it's registered for, the Panda's registered for 2 seats. If we put some back seats in the Panda and took it for a CT, it would fail because it's got back seats fitted. It's only registered for 2 because it was used as a commercial vehicle. When it's registered as a commercial vehicle, it has to go back for a test every year. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of conversions going on at the moment. Perhaps we could electrify the Panda. We've got solar panels, we could charge it up, but it's a minefield. That's my take on electric cars. Until our hand is forced, I think we're going to steer clear of them for now, especially here in rural France. We don't drive anywhere particularly, so as I've said previously.
And then finally, in an ideal world, what project or vehicle or any kind of YouTube topic would you like to cover on your YouTube channel?
In an ideal world where money was no object, obviously we got the Panda and I've got the gang mower to sort out. Ultimately, I would really love to get my hands on a 2-door Range Rover Classic, where it is a V8. I'd have to go for an auto because obviously my left leg isn't as strong as my right leg. I can manage on the tractor, but I think in traffic, my left leg on a clutch won't be very good. Obviously, my right leg's pretty good. I can drive an automatic without any problems. But yeah, I would really love to get hold of a Range Rover Classic and probably strip it right down and do a full nut and bolt restore. It would cost a bloody lot of money. It would be good content for the channel. It seems that Range Rovers is what brings people in. As I've said before, other content. Having said that, putting out these solar videos is getting a lot of interest and I get a lot of comments and questions. But it's all dips and, you know, troughs and dips and curves and bits and pieces on the analytics. Even the Range Rover videos aren't doing that great at the minute, but I still keep putting the content out there because I enjoy doing it. But, you know, I know you lot would probably like to see a Range Rover Classic being done. And they are basic, they're pretty bog standard, there's nothing complicated on them, especially if you could get one, an old V8 with carburetors. You'll laugh. No electronic fuel injection or anything fancy. I'd like electronic ignition, can't be doing with points. Yeah, so ultimately, so if I win the lottery, we're having a nice new garage built with a 4-post lift, a 2-post lift and a nice big bay in there, and we'll probably get a Range Rover Classic. So keep your fingers crossed I win the lottery.
So there you go, that's my few questions for you, Ben. I'm sure all of our viewers will find it very interesting as to what you have to say to those questions. And hopefully the gifts that I sent you in the box will brighten your day a little bit.
This thing is amazing. Look at that, Ben's garage, TDV8. So thanks again to Sam for sending these bits out. I've got to have another look at them now. Do you think they would look alright on the front of the Range Rover? There's a serious bit of light power in there. There's plenty of candles, I can tell you. We don't go by candles anymore, do they? It's all this lumen business. But gone are the days of buying a torch. Oh, this torch has got 1 million candle power. So yes, I mean, I was looking at some ARB Solis, the round ones. Perhaps I'll get those as well. Round ones in the middle, square ones on the outside. Yeah, I'm really chuffed with what Sam sent. So thanks again, Sam. This has been a good collaboration. I hope you enjoy what I've sent you, and I hope you put all of it on camera, because we all really want to see your reaction. So that's going to wrap this video up now. I hope this wind hasn't spoiled it all with this bloody sun in and out like a yo-yo. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.